I don't want to feel that okay lah, I got a first shooter, so I can bring lesser gears because the first shooter will just take care of everything. So I want to have like my gears with me, and then in case if first shooter lens got something wrong, then at least I still can
Back them.
Yeah, correct.
What up, beautiful people? So today we have our guest Benjamin Ng, Photography. So Benjamin has been shooting for quite a few years, and today we have him on our podcast to talk about how to be the best second shooter that you can ever be, how to prep yourself mentally, equipment wise, creative wise, how can you complement your first shooter. That's all that on our podcast. But before we start, just want to thank every one of you again to spend your editing hours and play as your podcast. I've heard people in the wedding industry have feedback that they find this very helpful, and they use the chance to kind of listen what the community is saying and the guests with their golden nuggets, and really appreciate that. And you guys keep on doing what you guys are doing, and if there's a chance, if I can invite any one of you that want to share, please let me know, DM me. I would love to have you in our podcast. Yeah, and but without further ado, let's go to our podcast. Welcome everyone to another episode of Let's Get Creative podcast, where I'm your host, Yancong from Yancongvideos. So today we are very lucky to have Benjamin Ng Photography, and of course his brand is his name, just like mine, yancongvideos from Yancong from Yancongvideos. So Benjamin, would you share how you actually get started, how long you've been doing this, and the whole shabam?
I think I started maybe 7 years ago. Yeah, so I was just playing with my friend's DSLR, and then I started to get obsessed with like the bokeh. Yeah,
same.
so that was the thing that got me started. And then at that time it was expensive for me to own a DSLR.
Were you a student?
Yeah, still student.
No wonder. Okay.
Then so I started with my friend's camera first. Yeah, so I learned from him everything, and then slowly my dad bought me a DSLR. So we shared, like we sort of shared the camera. So I started learning from YouTube. So the first wedding that I got was a friend's wedding. Yeah, so it was lucky lah that they trust me to do their wedding, although they know that I have absolutely no experience at all, like zero.
By then, how long you've been picking up that skill already?
I think maybe 1 to 2 years of just playing with DSLR.
Oh, that's really good. So okay, what's the do you consider, okay, let you choose, will you consider your friend's DSLR your first DSLR or your dad's DSLR as your first DSLR?
I think my friend's DSLR as the first.
And what's the brand and the
Nikon,
the whole thing? Nikon?
Yeah, it was a D80 I think, or D90. Yeah, correct.
It's damn old.
Yeah.
With what lens that you shoot with?
It was still the kit lens.
Oh, the kit lens. Okay. Then your dad's one?
Also same. So we got D80, also the kit lens. I think it was 18135.
Wow, you got a full range lah. Okay. Yeah, this shows that you don't really need like super intense.
Yeah.
But how was the shoot like? How's your first experience like?
Scary first time. Yeah, because people's wedding.
I know.
But luckily he was very, the wife and him were very easygoing. So they just want photos to document the whole wedding. Yeah, so that was also my first time with like flash and all to shoot.
Wow, you shoot flash on the first one?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was scary.
Yeah, imagine. I mean, until now I still haven't really learned the full skill of using a flash. I a bit detest it because it's like I don't know how it works. Sometimes you overexpose, sometimes you underexpose. You might expose the wrong thing, then it's the whole crazy.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
You still have to know like where to bounce the light off and all.
I know. I think it's really playing with the thing that makes you like grow lah. You have to like pick up here and there. So yeah, learn from him through using all the different equipments, really play around with it. Okay, so we kind of know how you get started and everything. So what are the projects that you currently working now?
Right now, mostly weddings, and then a little bit of corporate, like sometimes corporate headshots, and then also a little bit of like family shoots lah.
I always wanted family shoots, but currently no takers. I think video very rare lah. To have
I
like
think so.
family or baby or like newborn.
Correct, yeah, maternity shoots and all.
Yeah, actually, no. People that are listening to this episode, right? I would like to kind of share that actually, video is possible to do all these other things that photography does, like all the maternity shoot and stuff. It's actually possible. So, anyone that's interested in this kind of shoot is definitely possible to storytell through the video lens. Okay, so you introduce yourself, but we want to know more. So what I do with my guests is we have quick fire rounds for my guests to kind of so that we can explore more. But is sometimes with topics that is in out of creative lah, to just kind of like know you. Okay. So what's the best piece of advice that you have received?
Best piece, I think to get out of your comfort zone. Yeah, because we tend, for me lah, I tend to stay in my comfort zone because I know like confirm safe one. Like you won't go wrong doing something that you've been doing for like a long time.
Okay.
But that also restricts you. That means like every time you do, it's all the same pattern. If you don't go out of your comfort zone. So if you step out of your comfort zone and try something different, although it can be scary at times lah. Like, what if you do this and then the client doesn't like it, or you don't know how to execute that certain like you don't know how to shoot a certain scene if you go out of your comfort zone, and then what if you like screw up? Yeah, so these are the worries, but it helps you to grow. Like once you step out of it, you manage to learn, then you know that next time you can do this as well.
Is there a safer way to jump into things that you're uncomfortable in without affecting your job capabilities for your client?
Sometimes it's to do your homework first. Yeah.
Oh my god, you and Ryan say the exact same thing. Yeah, do the homework first.
Yeah, you have to do a little bit of homework lah, like before the shoot. Look at how people have done it, and then try to figure out how you can also do the same thing on your shoot. But sometimes it's not like copying another photographer's work or another creative's work, but it's to learn like certain techniques and then see how you can implement it in your work.
Wow, that's very good advice. Okay, so what's something that you failed at?
Failed at
Anything.
I think failed at, I would say, interacting with people.
Clients per se, or like anyone in particular?
Not so much of clients, but maybe more of the guests lah. Because like for wedding photography, it's always better if you can communicate or interact with the guests over there. And then for me, I am more reserved, so I tend to just do my work, try to get the shots that I want without interrupting or without interfering with people.
So you're more like a ninja shooter lah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, there's good thing about being a ninja shooter, but then again, yeah, I agree that wedding is a people's game. Understand that everybody has their job to do. Communicating with guests or even bride and groom or parents are equally important lah. Because it's still an emotional day, so there's always human factor into what we are doing lah. Corporate maybe also need lah, but not as intense because the number of people in the corporate scene might be lesser. Yeah. Okay, so if your house was on fire, what are the 2 things that you would want to take from your house?
Right now, at the top of my mind, right, is actually my passport and my camera.
Aiyo.
Yeah.
Okay. You got no pets, right?
No, don't have.
Okay, not a bit heartless. So why passport and camera? Why passport so particular?
Yeah, actually, I don't know why passport just appeared in my mind. Maybe because I just came back from a trip. So that's like the first thing on my mind. And then second one, yeah, would be camera. Because like you invested so much.
Yeah, okay. True lah. Everybody will just Ryan also say the same thing. We'll pick up their camera first. Okay. If you have one lens to shoot, what will it be and why?
One, I would say
Tough, right?
35.
Oh my god, you and Ryan say the exact same thing.
Serious?
But I have to say why lah. Why?
I think initially a lot of people were telling me like they were saying 50mm is like the go-to lens. So I tried 50 and then I find that it's a bit narrow, it's a bit tight for me. And then I prefer the view that I get from a 35. Yeah. But before I went for my trip, right, I was thinking, should I bring like my 35 or like a kit lens 18 to 55? But end up I went for 18-55 because it's lighter,
more versatile.
Yeah, correct.
I totally understand. I mean, I also travel quite a bit, and usually if you go travel, it's always between how functional your lens is and like portable and like the whole thing. But then I always struggle. I have this internal struggle between should I be more like versatile or should I train myself to be a more disciplined shooter using a certain focal length.
Yeah.
This is the internal struggle that I have every single time lah. But end up what I do is I bring both. So you can choose on the day itself, like because the day, like the whole timetable for every day is different ma. So depend on where I'm going. If I know I'm going for like a night event, the light condition is like one of the worst ones kind, then I'll just bring a prime lens where it's more easy to kind of like absorb light. But if I'm going like a day trip out, then maybe a zoom lens might help better. But I think spoiled for choice lah, cause I have the 18 to 105, right? Ridiculously long so it becomes like, even if I give myself the whole range, right? How much will I use? Like I will fluctuate and end up I won't shoot correctly or shoot properly, cause I'm given that range. Then I'm confused between how should I shoot, the 18 or towards the tighter range. But I think I slowly appreciate the prime and the limitation of it. So if you kind of limit yourself, you have to break the box to really, how to say, zoom in, zoom out yourself lah. Like how to frame your shot. And lighter lor. I don't have to think about, do I have to bring so many lens. It gives me much more prospect lah. So that's why I understand why your photographer like to use a wider and a tighter, like a 35, 85.
Correct, yeah.
Makes much more sense. But you all use two camera bodies, so crazy heavy. Don't know how you all can survive. Okay, so who would you like to play in the movie? If you can play any character in your life, who would you want to be? And why?
Wow. I really love this movie. It's called Life is Beautiful. Yeah. But it's also a very touching one. It's about I think during the Nazi period, the German period, yeah. So this dad was trying to convince the kid, because they were sent to this concentration camp. So the dad was convincing the kid, they're actually playing a game, they have to play hide and seek, so the kid must always hide from the soldiers to not get caught. So the whole story was quite touching, and then in the end the dad died. Yeah, got killed by the soldiers. So but then the kid managed to hide from all the soldiers, thinking that it was a game until the end of the war.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
So I think the dad is kind of like a inspiration to me.
Impact you the most lah. Wow, very deep. Very sad but very deep. Yeah. Okay, so if you have one superpower, what will it be and why?
To duplicate myself.
You mean for your work, is it?
Yeah.
No one. The first thing I thought is like, oh, so you can shoot more. I didn't even thought of any other purpose, but just to shoot more.
Yeah,
Split yourself, shoot. Yeah, agree. If I'm also at the superpower, I'll also do the same thing. Okay, if what's the best movie you ever watched?
Best movie. I would say it'll be the same movie. Life is
movie,
but then
ah.
I think it can be quite boring lah. Like keep saying the same movie.
It's okay. I mean, it's up to you. You got to know you personally. If you really love the movie.
Yeah, I think that would be a movie because I keep recommending to people.
When you watched it, then yeah.
I think many years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago already.
Wow, and you still remember like
Yeah.
the details. Like, oh, okay, wow, that's a really very good movie. Okay, if you weren't in this industry, then what will you be doing now?
Marketing those office job.
You also said 9 to 5 kind lah. Okay, yeah, true lah. I mean, if I'm not doing this, I'll also be doing 9 to 5 just to survive. But while we are doing related side gigs. Okay, so now you answer all the questions. We get to know a little bit more about Benjamin. So we come to the first, the main topic of the day, which is like being a model second shooter or like shooter 101 or whatever you can say. But our topic will be focusing on being a second shooter. I believe everybody just started their journey as a second shooter or started as basically a shooter. You definitely need someone to guide you along. So planting yourself out there, being a second shooter, like what previously Clara also mentioned, that plunge yourself out there to try. But in order to try, you have to shoot for others in order to grow. I believe Benjamin also went through very, very similar. I also personally went through very similar path. Maybe Benjamin, you can kind of share like how long you've been second shooting before you start taking in your own, and what does it really takes to be a second shooter, be it mentally, skills, and also like equipment wise, how can you complement the first shooter?
I think I second shoot for like my friends for probably a few years lah, maybe 2-3 years. Yeah, then after that slowly get the confidence to shoot on my own. Yeah, and then what else?
What does it really takes to be one, to make your first shooter, like I would say more practical way, like they want to shoot with you again. Yeah.
Being a second shooter, I think it's more of, like what you say, complementing the first shooter to get more, not just more photos, but then it's a well covered, well documented wedding or any events for your clients. So because usually, if you are the only shooter, you have to go for all the important shots, the key shots, and then you have to give up on like certain moments that's happening behind you, or moments that are like somewhere in certain corners of the ballroom and stuff. But when you have a second shooter, your job is to go and cover all these moments, like certain things happening like at certain tables, so that when the couples they look back at the photos, then they'll be like, oh, I didn't know this was happening.
Like okay, just like you mentioned, like you can shoot all these like specific moments. Do you practice like the creative shots, or do you like only focus on what is being told to you like by your first shooter?
I try to do both. Definitely you must also listen to your first shooter because they are the ones hiring you. So if like they tell you to get like certain shots, certain angles, try to get those shots. Try to get those first, then you can get the creative shots.
Okay. Then how about like being mentally prepped? Do you have any like ritual before you go for like your second shoot? Anything that you usually do so that your first shooter like can rely on you on certain things? Like do you bring extra stuff? Do you like do something for your first shooter in particular? Some good tips of being a second shooter?
I think the most important one is make sure that all your gears are like fully charged and you clean your lenses and stuff, because you don't want to go for a shoot and then your first shooter have to worry about you, have to like lend you their batteries and stuff. So you, instead of helping the first shooter, you become more like a burden to them. Yeah. And then it's also good to know what are the angles or what kind of photos that your first shooter always go for, so that you don't shoot the same thing. Yeah, because end up he can only pick like he can only pick one of two photos from the same angle. Yeah. And I think it's to have need to have like good chemistry with the first shooter.
Yeah.
So that you know how he works, what is he or she shooting, and then you can cover the other stuff.
Yeah, actually, this resonates a lot. I totally agree what Benjamin said about really being in the zone, like observing your main shooter's role while getting your own angle. At the start, being a second shooter myself, I have this problem also where I'm too into my gear. Once you're shooting, moments keep fleeting, so you're very concerned about camera settings and everything, but then once in a while you may forget where your main shooters are at. So I believe a lot of starters, when they shoot, they sometimes too engrossed in their own camera settings and in their LCD screen. They sometimes don't read the room.
Correct.
I think looking at your own first shooter still okay, but if you add in people that are walking around you, plus the videographers that are coming around you, that might affect people lah, because sometimes you shift in a space where you are clashing with other shooters. So space awareness. I was being last time being as a second shooter for another production house, I was being mentioned of not being space aware. I think space aware is something that resonates a lot. So sometimes nowadays when I shoot, because of his sayings in past shoots, makes me very aware in different situations. When I'm shooting tea ceremony, when I'm shooting ceremony, when I shoot, I don't always stick my face into the LCD screen. You always must see what is beyond your horizon and really see who are standing where at any moment, so that when you need to shift, you need to shift. Then or even when you need to communicate with your first shooter, eye contact or something, it can be done. You just need to be very wary. Your eyes has to spread between what you're shooting and what you're looking lah. I think a lot of people at the start, this is the main mistake that they made, that they only shoot with their eyes are only the lens. They don't open up enough, so that sometimes when I'm trying to communicate as a first shooter, I'm trying to communicate as a second shooter to shift place or certain place, they don't even see.
Yeah.
So because of that, sometimes now my strategy is I might need to plant a third camera, like a tripod. I noticed that this is like a strategy that I might want to use in future, is to plant a tripod to aim at a scene where it's dead. When I say dead, it's like ceremonial. When the bride and groom is already there, they can't shift place. This is where they are standing. So maybe aim a dead camera that's there to just save that shot. Then both main and the second shooter can be able to float around and take the what you call the fleeting moments lah. Yeah, I think that is something that I've learned through this whole year. As in at least for last year, 2019, that was like one of the big thing that I've learned. Like really, I now I can see people that shoot for a while and people never shoot for a while. You can see their space awareness. They really will big difference one. Like suddenly you can see they can just stand there throughout the thing. Then you just like, why are they standing on a shot that has been shot for like more than 2 minutes? This is something. No one, even photo or video, will stare at one spot and just shoot. Unless you're lazy, you're using a zoom lens, then much easier or crowd reaction. But no one will just stand there and just shoot. This is something that is quite handy lah. So for equipment wise, you say you need to clean your lens and everything. Do you have like a set of items that you use to kind of like brand yourself as really second shooter, or do you rent your equipment in between?
I used to rent, but then slowly as I like pick up more jobs and then save up, then I start to purchase them. Yeah, which I think it's better also, because rent sometimes you have to depend on whether it's available or not. If it's not available, then you need to then you panic. So if you have it on your own, at least you know that okay lah, you confirm have the gears ready for the shoot.
Okay. So but what?
But maintenance wise, it's also up to you. Because if you rent, maintenance, it's the rental center will maintain the lens for you.
Oh, yeah, this is actually quite a good pro. Yeah, it's pro tip. Really balance between your equipment and stuff lah. So you need to know. But is there like a list of items that you feel that must have to in order to second shoot?
List of items.
Just generic stuff like.
Usually I will bring the gears that I use if I'm solo shooting.
So those are your list of things that you second shoot lah. Like you don't like purposely bring something like only deemed as to complement the first shooter or
not really lah. Yeah, because when I second shoot, right, I will still take it as though I'm shooting like on my own. But then because I don't want to feel that okay lah, I got a first shooter, so I can bring lesser gears, because the first shooter will just take care of everything. So I want to have like my gears with me, and then in case if first shooter lens got something wrong, then at least I still can
back them.
Yeah, correct.
I see. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's quite a legit way lah. So is there can you like share some like handy like tricks on the day itself? That means you already prep finish, you already clean your lens, everything. Is there any handy tips that you can share as a second shooter to make your day as a second shooter much easier, so that you don't kalang kabut on the day itself?
I think the most important one is to look at the itinerary. It's important to know like the flow of events, rather than just waiting for your main shooter to tell you, oh, this is going to happen next, that's going to happen after that. So if you have a clear idea, or at least like a rough idea of what's going to happen, then it's easier for you to plan where to plant yourself, because you know what's going to happen, then roughly where's your main shooter going to be at, so you can go and cover other stuff. And then I think just got to be aware of where your main shooter is.
Agree. Like okay, this is one thing that apart from being like knowing the itinerary is very important. What I mentioned with Nothing Visuals Ryan the previous time was also we mentioned about the scheduling. You can actually screenshot and put on your lock screen, so anytime you can refer and stuff, so it's quite handy. For me personally, on the day, the most handy tip, it's not really a tip lah, is taking care of your first shooter in terms of, because sometimes first shooter as a videographer, first shooter usually have to do the editing of the film, stuff like that. So what I usually do as a second shooter, I will kind of like buy the drinks and stuff, buy the food, make sure that he or she is like fed properly, taking care of their needs lah, their basic needs, pack their stuff, pack their gear. It's all these small things, like all these physical things that make their life much easier, like the luggages that you need to kind of like bring up and down. The gears are not light, so every time we have to board transport, we have to make sure. So I feel that all these small gestures are important lah, in the long run, to form the chemistry, right? Because if you don't take care of their needs, then they also feel like, paying you also quite sian, like basically paying a robot that takes instruction, like no point lah. So if you really want to be into this industry or being a second shooter, it's really important to know your social cues, taking care, previously we talked about taking care of brides and groom. They are equally important. But now we talk about taking care of the allies that you are shooting with, the partners. Even if you don't know the photographer as a videographer, I feel that we are doing the same role, same line. I always, if I have the capacity, I usually want to take care of them also. Like make sure that they are alert. Even tell the photographer, hey, later what time will be like this thing happening, where will you be, just make sure that everybody is communicated throughout. So when we are shooting marching or something, we won't clash together, you won't make a big confusion between each other. So yeah, as a tip between second shooter, first shooter, and basically the whole people that are doing their job as a vendor Okay, so what's the do's and don'ts of being a second shooter? Maybe you can give like a few.
I think the number one don't is don't get into their frames. Yeah, because end up you see their photos all like most of their shots, you can see the second shooter in the frame, then it spoils the photo. So yeah, number one is don't ruin your main shooter's photos.
Right.
Then do's wise, yeah, like what you said, I think it's important to just to take care of one another, like especially to help your main shooter, because you're there to help them make their job easier also. So if they have to rush to if the couples and the main shooter have to rush to a spot to take photos, then you can just help by taking care of their luggage, help them get their gears and stuff. So it helps them to not worry so much, but then at the same time they can get the shots that they need. Yeah, so sometimes as second shooter, right, there are some sacrifices lah. Yeah, maybe you go for a shoot thinking that you want to get this certain image as a second shooter, but then on that day you know that the opportunity is there, but then the priority goes to the main shooter. So I would rather help with the logistics and let the first shooter get his shots rather than me wanting to get my own shots.
Yeah, I think putting the team first is very crucial lah. I mean, it's still a learning process, a growing process. There's a reason why you are sticking with this main shooter. Maybe it's their style that attracts you. Maybe it's their work ethics that attracts you. But previously I talked with Jack for 3 Hours Weddings. We also talk about why we choose certain people as second shooter and why some second shooter doesn't work. Like some shooters can shoot certain things really well, but just cannot mix with certain first shooters due to maybe social cues are not there. Maybe this guy can shoot very well. It's just maybe the chemistry, it all leads down to how well you work with the team and not how well you shoot. You can get the best shot, you can even shoot better than the first shooter, but then on the day where you are being paid as a second shooter, the mental switch has to be being a second and have to make some leeway of sometimes not just shooting but to serve them properly lah. Okay, so what's the most passionate part when you are doing a shoot, a project, commercial, big commercial or weddings? Which part of the project you are like the most enjoy then?
Yeah, the shooting part would be the most passionate one.
Why?
Because it's where I get to see. Because for me, I really like to see those emotions on lecture day. So like on like just one day itself, you can see the same people cry and then laugh, and maybe cry again. So it's something that I really like. So personally, I think sometimes it's quite evil lah, like deep inside me. like during thank you speech, right, I'll be like, like the person like want to cry already, then in my mind I'm like, okay, please let there be a tear to roll down your cheek and stuff. So those are the emotions that I want to capture. So during the shoot, it's where I would say most passionate.
Nice. Yeah, Clara also mentioned that our job, it feels like we are a bully. Every time make people cry.
Yeah.
Which I kind of agree. For me is not just a thank you speech. Sometimes I'm more looking towards the moments where the parents and the daughter or their son, and that's the part that hits me the most. Do you shake when you or also not so shake not like shake very jialat, but have you went to shoot a wedding where you can really feel it and your voice start to shake, like start to jitter a bit? I think it's when you feel it.
I realize I tend to get emotional during the speeches. Like even though the speech is not about me at all. Like it's just Daddy, Mommy, I want to thank you for the past few years. And then sometimes, or rather, 8 out of 10 shoots, I'll feel that my eyes start to get teary. But luckily, I got camera to block lah, so it's still okay. So then sometimes it's the veiling part.
That's the
Like sometimes I will ask the parents, okay, after veiling, you can say something to the parents. But most Asian parents, they are quite shy on. Like I ask them to say, then the dad will be like,
you're not the only one.
don't need to say anything. Oh, why must I say? But then after that, then they will say. Then after
everything flow out.
Then you can see the dad turn the head, then get a bit emotional.
Yeah, it really depends. It's really give and take. Sometimes you really get it, then it's the best feeling in the world to really get it. Real emotions. Okay, so what's the biggest mistake that you have made as a second shooter?
I think there was once I second shoot for Clara from Perfect Statement. And then because she was moving quite fast, I think it was during gate crash. So she was like moving around, and then as much as I try to like get out of her frames, right, sometimes I'm a bit too late. Like I'm focused on certain angle, then I saw her moving, and then she snapped already, then I move away. So end up I think some of her photos, right, I got into some of her photos lah.
Okay lah, not really mistake lah. Still can rectify on lah.
Yeah, can.
Clara just use more brush tool when you're shooting with Benjamin. Brush him off. Slowly brush him off. More work. I just charge it to his pay.
Just talk my pay.
So for every photo it's like maybe $10. Wow. Then now you won't. Then you just jump away from the frame. Okay, so what's the best tip that you can give for creatives out there that wants to start this journey or want to jump into being a second shooter? Do you have any tips? Even not just second shooter lah. Maybe you just want to jump into curious about going into this industry. What's the best tip that you can give our fellow listeners out there?
I think you must be teachable, but at the same time also a little bit stubborn. But the stubborn is more towards the parents one. Because when I joined, when I told them I want to focus on like wedding photography, so most parents like mine they will say, go and get a stable job better . So they have been nagging at me for like a few years .
But you survive.
So I think right now they more or less like give up already. They just let me do my stuff. So I think one key thing is also to show them your works. Because like you go out in the morning to shoot, come back late at night, then they don't know what are the kind of photos that you get, what are the kind of things that you have like achieved outside. So sometimes when you show them the photos, then they'll be oh my son can take photos one. Then they will still okay lah, still can. And then you have to be teachable and like just learn from people. Cannot like die you want your way, or you think that your style is the most perfect, that kind. So to learn from people I think it's the best thing, especially if you can have people that are willing to teach you, because I think it's very competitive in this industry.
Yes.
Like everyone will have their unique selling point lah. Like this guy shoots in a certain way, then that guy shoots in another, like maybe very bright kind of photos. So if someone is willing to teach you, then just learn .
I think not easy to find a second shooter that kind of like blends in your style in particular.
Correct, yeah.
We just saying style, we're not even talking about like work well as a team. I think that is like another thing that had to balance between how the person can shoot and how well the person can serve you. It's really a very thin line. Like I have friends that I think that is really good as like maybe in the editing space, but not really suitable for shooting, because maybe the way that the person shoot might not be relevant. So maybe he's more of like a suited editor for me rather than a person that knows how to shoot.
Correct.
Their style, but not saying that the person shoot is wrong. It's just saying that maybe their style is not as nice. Like I've engaged second shooter that actually shot well in my so called in my level. Like I felt that this person can shoot the way that I shoot. So okay, in terms of technical, very clear. But my client can actually see the shots between mine and his, and actually say that mine was a little bit better, and they don't understand why he shot like that, like his way. Then I personally can't tell because I felt like it's professional enough to be edited as a video. But I'm surprised that even clients can tell. Like smart clients can really tell the difference. Like even though we're using the same camera, things and stuff, the way that we shoot can communicate to the client's sense lah. And that's something that I've learned quite recently only. That's why I mentioned like the shooting style you really must understand lah. Like until now I still think that it's a bit creepy because they can tell what shot is shot mine was his, so I haven't got to tell the second shooter yet. As a first shooter, it's important to keep educating your second shooter. There's no perfect team, so the only way is to keep actually second shooter also must thick skin a bit, like ask, like really be like what you say, teachable, like really go and ask, is there anything I can improve on, what kind of shot I can do better. Then you can actually pick some skill from your first shooter and like learn from them, use it on your own shoot, kind of morphed it, send it to them, send it to your first shooter and ask for feedback. Like really go and ask like, is this shot okay? Can it be improved better? I also let Jack, because I also shoot second shoot for Jack, and she also asked to like watch my own shoot and edited video, and she gave me feedback like certain shot can be tighter, why should it be tighter, the explanations behind. So being a second shooter, you really must thick skin a bit, just go deep inside and ask. After every shoot, maybe you can ask the first shooter to kind of like review your shots, give feedbacks. First shooter, on the other hand, should be willing to teach lah.
Yeah, correct.
Even if the second shooter willing to learn, but if you want to keep to yourself, it's a bit hard for a second shooter to really grow. It's something that has to take two hands to clap lor. And I'm glad that you managed to find Ryan and Ricky as like, I believe is a mentor character. They both are really skilled at what they do. You yourself has been doing quite a long time, and I know you recently joined them not long ago, right?
Yeah, I think coming to 2 years.
Oh, okay lah, long enough lah. 2 years, yeah. Then it's very hard to find in this industry lah. So, where can people find your work, and which channel would you prefer them to like find out more about your work and stuff?
Right now, I'm mostly on Instagram, so it's like my name, Benjamin Ng Photography. Yeah, so most of my works are over there.
Is there a website that you can also follow?
Website not yet, so I'm still in the midst of doing one.
Okay. So when it will come out? Set a deadline. So this will be your
New Year resolution.
2020. Wow, it will take quite a while. So guys, we will anticipate your new website. But meanwhile, if you're really interested in what Benjamin shoots, please feel free to visit. I will put the whole thing shenanigans below. And thank you, Benjamin, today for your time. If you guys have any questions today, we will just skip the whole Q&A because I felt like really try out all the topics that we want to talk about. But I thank you for people that have used the chance to ask me a question to actually give feedbacks, give their thanks. a lot of people say that the contents are really good. So thank you everyone that spend their time to actually listen, watch the podcast or videocast. And thank you Benjamin again, and we will see you next time. Bye.